Wah.
Wah.
That guy's literally vibrating. I relate to Curio at a personal level.
I was ingesting a regulation beef steak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
Ingesting. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particular fine golden curio to the military gentleman.
Vibing. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet was fired on the English civilian. From the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yeah.
I was on my hands and knees, investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio.
Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw at the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgiving enemy.
Sir! just pulled out a knife out of nowhere. Just like, what times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day.
But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone.
Is that really true, Ryunosuke?
Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee.
Some water.
Where'd I get water?
It's canon now. They ordered just water.
Then when I finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant. When I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting.
What is the gun doing on the floor?
I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up...
Bang. Well, if that's the truth, then there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. He be vibing. And somewhere these two... Sorry, I saw him and I got distracted. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was.
There is?
Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses.
Cross-examine?
Do it now.
As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in these testimonies of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice.
Certainly, the testimony this court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands its right to cross-examination.
Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic.
Huh? How did he know?
The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time.
Pro tip, do not yell out yes when the court is accusing you.
The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry on a cross-examination?
Objection! The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Ooh.
Kazuma is so commanding.
Senpai.
Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses.
No. All right. This is where the battle truly begins, Ryunosuke.
But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination.
Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements.
How?
You didn't fire the gun, which means that what that soldier said has to be a lie.
Well, yes, but...
It's just a case of proving it. And the key to do it is that... And the key to doing that is evidence.
Right. Evidence.
All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now, let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you.
Alright then. It's all or nothing. I love his panicked look at his hand. Like he startles himself with his own.
It's a little baby slap.
I was suggesting okay, actually no. Where are we presenting somewhere or pressing somewhere or what are we doing?
I mean, we could press. Like, I don't think this is it, but we can press.
You gonna press here?
We can, yeah, just to see if it's something funny.
Why aren't you saying anything? Is this some new interrogation technique? I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask.
Just ask about anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you.
Alright then. The beef steak you mentioned. What kind of food is that?
Beef steak.
Tension! Ugh.
Ah,
Beef steak is a delicious cut of veal, vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot. Oh. If food could receive medals of honor, beef steak would be almost as highly decorated as a cutlet. Right. I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Tension! Ugh! Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed in breadcrumbs and deep fried in cooking oil.
this guy really likes his veal.
Accept your verdict, guilty verdict, atone for your crimes, and when you're released from prison, try it.
I mean,
Yes, sir, I will, sir, on the double, sir.
I feel like veal is like unnecessarily inhumane, but we don't have to get to it. Sorry to interrupt, but listen, Kazuma, let me get on my soapbox. How about trying to stick to questions that are relevant to the case? Kazuma is
Oops, sorry.
very offensive to me.
I'll do my best.
I'm just trying to keep the chat lively, Kazuma.
So next question. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing a sort of wah crying noise? Negative! Well, at least we've learnt that he's a big beef lover.
Affirmative. A big beef lover.
It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. Oh, we got the Prime Presser achievement! We got an achievement!
Whoop, whoop.
Okay.
Let's do it. Press that boy.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, Koban boy.
A koban? You mean an old Edo coin?
The day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoei period into my possession. I took myself to the restaurant the following day, with said item secreted in my bosom pocket.
Oh, I thought it was secreted.
he just oiled it into his body. In the hope of an affluent cognizance, appraised of its indisputable value being present.
So, you're hoping to sell your koban coin to Sergeant Nosa, whom you met at the restaurant?
Yes, it's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious koban. Isn't that so?
Well,
Oh my god.
you little upstart cadet. You want to add disrespecting a superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination.
Just regular subordination.
No, I didn't say anything.
It's not even insubordination, it's just regular.
Although penniless might be just the word I was looking for.
In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that of the midday luncheon. There remained precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. The gentleman beside me who was grappling with his braised veal at the time was my sole prospect.
I see. Are you pressing here, or?
Yeah, we could. Dragon mentioned that he presses all of them, so we might as well, unless we feel that it's not going to be funny.
So you're saying that you actually saw me at that time? Affirmative! I saw you! Laughing, cackling, like a madman as you trained the barrel of your gun on the English civilian. But that's impossible. Only...
Allow me to confirm just one point, please.
What's that, Private?
Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you had the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table.
And so what if it was?
Well, if that's really the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment the killer actually fired the gun.
Arg! And double arg! My sixth sense. Sorry? My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means, a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, cadet. Surely that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I'd have gotten to where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son?
Can a sixth sense be admissible in court? Well,
this is 1800s Japanese court, so I don't know.
it would seem the soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed.
This is not good. So yes.
So in short, yes. Arrest that bad boy!
Yes. So this black uniformed university cadet, you're saying that was... Arg! I've had just about enough of your sauce, cadet. Who else do you see around here in black uniform,
What sauce would Ryunosuke be if it was a sauce?
Well, there's someone standing right next to me that fits the description as well, but... Ryunosuke? He'd be...
I feel like he'd be like honey barbecue.
I was gonna say a sweet barbecue, but...
Yeah, so like honey barbecue, like a sweet barbecue. Teriyaki barbecue, is that appropriate?
I don't know, I feel like Nosa would be teriyaki barbecue. It was you little weasel. You unloaded the firearm on that man. From behind his back, and you call yourself a citizen of the great empire of Nippon. You disgust me.
No, Nosa would be Worcestershire. Because it goes on steak.
What is it? Oh, that's you.
What is it, Ryunosuke?
I'm not quite sure. It's something that the surgeon just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind.
In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you've gathered in the court record. And if you find any inconsistencies there with that, the witness... Yeah. And if you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court. Thrust it in the witness's face and make him choke on it.
Got it. Choke him.
Like a steak.
Guess we're doing the last one. On your hands and knees. Could you explain that, please?
Uga chaka. That's right. Spurning the arthritis I was, in order to retrieve the lost piece. What what lost piece are you referring to? The koban, of course, the exquisite Hawaii era koban coin. I'd just been showing the rare treasure to the military man as he masticated his meal. After averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished.
The koban vanished?
Hence I began to acquaint myself with the intricacies of the floor in order to locate it, and that's when it happened. Bang. You heard the gunshot, you mean? None other than, though it was no concern of mine. I was frantically scouring the floor for the aforementioned lost treasure.
So in fact, you didn't actually witness the precise moment when the incident occurred.
Indeed. Myself, I did not.
Ugh, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here.
Listen, Ryunosuke. We know there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose them.
I understand that. The question is, how?
Like I said before, the key to this is using evidence that you've collected. You can examine and present evidence while a witness is giving testimony by pressing the right bumper. Go through each witness statement and the details about each piece of evidence and compare all the facts. Somewhere in there, you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency.
An inconsistency?
When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seem to contradict each other, present your evidence with why and rip the witness apart. Metaphorically. Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you've dealt too many penalties, the defense case will fall apart and you'll receive a guilty verdict. So that's it. Peruse the evidence in the court records and find an inconsistency with the witness's statement.
Alright, I'll give it a try.
You can hear the witness's statements over and over again as many times as you'd like. So keep your head and be measured in your attack. Good luck, partner.
Okay. Well, we've pressed everything.
Okay. Let me see the evidence, because I don't quite remember.
Evidence, that's right bumper.
Okay, so that's probably not it.
We have the post-mortem report.
Okay.
We have the photograph of the victim.
Okay.
We have the waiter's business card.
Okay. I got it. So let's go through the statements. I was ingesting regulation beef steak. Doesn't matter. Next. Myself, I was extolling the virtues. Nah. Next. Precise moment the firearm was discharged, I observed the enemy actions with my own eyes. Maybe, but let's keep going. The black uniform bursters were from the back like the cowardly weasel. That's where we go. So let's present something. I don't know which one though, because there's two things that I think it could be.
Do you want to examine any of them closer?
We can, yeah.
Which one?
The postmortem report. Let's do that first. It said that. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. It said the bullet did not pass through. So the bullet hole is in the front. So I don't know. Like, I wish I could present both, but like, I guess the post-mortem report.
I mean, sometimes two things work. Like, you could do one or the other. So, post-mortem report.
Then yeah, that works.
What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting this wad of papers in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here.
My poor lad.
What nonsense. What could this document possibly tell us that we don't already know?
They raise his hand, yeah. Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth.
I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom.
Ugh, this is so frustrating.
Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It could be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court.
Kazuma, what?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from the single glance of the post-mortem report presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant Nosa,
Yes, sir. What, sir?
the statement you just made was this.
The black uniform fired on the express civilian.
Sorry. The black uniform varsity cadet fired on the English civilian. And from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Military grade.
But no, it just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because,
as it is clearly stated in the post-mortem report, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound, bullet did not pass through the body. A photographic print of the evidence clearly shows the same thing. So I was right.
Yep.
The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest.
Ah.
Sergeant, according to your witness's statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it?
I
know! The baby.
What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. This juncture that would appear to be indisputable.
He's a xenomorph.
Till the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were
Like the baby.
firmly fixed on a delicious La Carnival steak, sir.
What?
The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt.
Wait, what? Shady.
I love that baby. This witness, Sergeant Nosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all.
That's absurd.
I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Ba ba ba.
Achievement unlocked. Inconsistency seer. This has been a complete turnabout in the mood of the trial, just from that one discrepancy.
It's the name of the game. It's the name of the game. Gaku and Saiban.
So this is what being an ace attorney is all about.
Oh, it's the name of the game again. Oh.
No, but I definitely saw him. The university cadet there. He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Look at that precious boy.
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either.
Myself, I have already been quite clear. Look at the baby. The gunshot interests me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Oh yes, you're looking for your Coben coin, weren't you?
Indeed, the price Hawaii Koban. Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhaps it had fallen there, and then it happened. Bam! You heard the gunshots, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only for finding my absconded Hawaii treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt, some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the price coin for himself.
So I am sure everyone present is aware. This case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon.
Nevertheless, the witness's testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver the verdict on this trial right now.
What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will be abundantly clear that there is only one person who could have possibly committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What?
He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he?
Okay. Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegations. Is that clear?
As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir.
Atta baby.
Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido.
It would seem those straps are a sign of the surgeons being too strapped to afford a nanny.
Do you get the baby's name?
Ido. I don't know. I don't know, sir.
Yep.
I don't.
Yes or no, sir? I don't know, sir.
No. Game's canceled. I quit. Bye. Thank you. Have a nice day, everybody.
Ido, tension. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy.
Oh my God! I love him. I love him so much.
The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was. That young lad in black, that much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Indeed, alone he was. The English gentleman. The Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Baby.
These testimonies are certainly testimonies? Is that what he said?
Yeah, are certainly compelling.
Oh, compelling. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all.
Please, enough of these outbursts already.
But there was a woman. There was a young woman at this table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you'll respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We're not here to listen to your fantasies.
Ugh.
It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
This is a photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel.
Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one plate set.
Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. Ugh, that doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman.
The waiter before said the same thing.
I just ordered coffee like this.
He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well.
But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witnesses' testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt.
Oh my god.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takatsuchi Aochi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor.
How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule.
Is it me?
I think so.
Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet.
What?
If what you say is true, then there is something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination.
I don't know, Kazuma.
Clap.
The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witness, but make it quick. Understood.
Rules can be so unbending at times.
Ugh.
It's been so long since I voice acted. My throat is rough.
You picked a couple tough voices too.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we doing?
I mean, we can press.
It's up to you. Ah, wrong button. No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of an uninformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so.
Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked.
Did you?
Did you see it? Did you see me blink?
How could I?
And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink.
I bet it is.
So there you have it.
I feel like Ouchie didn't blink on purpose just to make a point.
Have what? Attention! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears in the very next moment. Another logic dragon. I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman.
I think that says it all, don't you?
Grr.
Let us not forget that the antique dealer witnessed the accused in his most incriminating position as well.
Yeah, this is like basic ethics, like logical fallacy. Like a lawyer should very easily be able to point it out.
Isn't that so, Korakuda-san?
No. Yeah, that's what it is.
I guess we're repressing them all.
Yeah.
Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've told you already, that's only because I'd picked it up off the floor already.
Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away.
I just finished drinking my coffee and I was about to leave the restaurant when
Coffee.
I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. At exactly that moment,
Bang!
a gunshot rang in my ears.
Full of events beyond our control, life is.
Sorry? What do you mean?
In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban off the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result.
Yeah, definitely
Anyway.
equal.
The fact remains, myself, I did see you. With pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner.
Furthermore, I already read this. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
As you have been, as you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman.
Ugh. If only there'd been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her.
Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner at any restaurant.
I know. Of course the place is almost empty. That's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of time to eat.
We should go to a restaurant, too.
I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone.
Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason.
There was?
Yes, there was. This was found in the victim's jacket pocket.
What is that, Consul?
It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. He got all A.
It's so bad, I'm sorry. It
would seem that the victim had an appointment at the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant.
At a clinic? Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. Not sure if you got that reference.
Hata Clinic?
The original Phoenix Wright trilogy had Hottie Clinic.
Oh, I didn't know
Same
that.
thing with an I instead of an A. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you'd remember that.
I thought you were going to tell me it was like a lot of heart reference. I'm like, deep cut.
No. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m.
The very day of the incident.
So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case.
I wonder.
Huh. What do you think, Ryunosuke?
Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really.
Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court records as evidence if you think it could be useful.
Should I ask that for Dr. Wilson's medical report card to be submitted as evidence or not?
Absolutely. Whenever there's an option to submit something as evidence, yes.
Man, you'd be that. What kind of lawyer would you be?
Right? Be like, no, I don't need extra evidence.
No, no. I mean, you just like submitting everything at all you can think of as evidence.
Oh,
Even
you
just
mean me? Yeah. It's like, oh, this hand puppet? Absolutely, evidence.
if I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card be just submitted as evidence, Your Excellency.
On what grounds?
Coffee grounds.
The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide, and we have a right to explore all possible alternatives. Well, avenues.
I beg your pardon?
You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence.
Very well. The court will grant the defense's request.
Youngsters these days are Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. The most disturbing trend.
Jeez,
Yikes.
that was problematic.
Yikes.
Officer,
Cancel.
kindly
Ouchie.
add the victim's medical report to the court record.
Tigers is the ouchie. It's cancelled. Said it right here now. What we need right now, what we need now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first.
Right, I hear you.
You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. What? Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witnesses' testimonies leave no room for doubt.
The day after the festival for you.
Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korakuda-san.
What does that mean? It's the end of the line?
Korakuda-san?
Indeed, he was alone.
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone.
That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in.
So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one.
No.
The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter, who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why?
If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea.
Can I look at that new piece of evidence?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Show me.
Oh, I can't examine it closer.
Ugh. Fair. Okay.
Should we press the last one?
Didn't we already press this one?
No, this is the only one we haven't done.
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
Why are you telling the truth? Why aren't you telling the truth?
Why
What?
are you telling the truth?
What did you say? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you not to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Nohodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter whose testimony the court heard earlier clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right.
Precisely, in other words. You are the sole proponent of this phantom lady.
It's my favorite Zelda game.
But I...
If such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecutor demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecutor demands that no further mentions of this phantom woman be made. It's a blatant waste of the court's time.
There's nothing I can say to that.
Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now.
Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that brings any real discrepancies to light.
I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got there.
Oh, you mean this?
Oh, you mean this? Yes, it's a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps you should examine it in a little more detail.
How exactly?
You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press A, and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use the right trigger,
Right stick.
right stick. Use your devil trigger to rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using the left stick,
It needs to show all that.
you can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that you may have missed before. I feel like on the 3DS, so this was just like one line, just like, touch the book! If the crosshair starts to pulsate, ooh, press A to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. I think you should take a closer look. See if there isn't something new to learn by examining it in more detail.
Alright, I'll see what I can do. Need to use the right stick, left stick, and A to inspect any areas of the evidence that look suspicious.
This was a 3DS game originally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out.
There's the translation at the bottom. Mr. John Wilson, Hada Clinic.
Hada Clinic.
It says Hada Clinic on this medical
Oh.
report card. I hate
It's
clinics.
Doki Literature Club now.
Almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries.
Aren't they all the same?
When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life.
Most people would give their right arm just to have only one cold in the whole life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. Oh, dentist.
It looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago.
Yeah, it's probably a record of a long-term treatment. That's why, with a family doctor, I imagine.
Well, I can't imagine going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one.
Oh my God, Ryunosuke. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So you don't like doctors then?
Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine, they give you painful injections, and then they demand lots of money for you for the privilege, all while you're at your lowest ebb.
Oh my God, Ryunosuke's woke. Hashtag true woke. You sound like a model patient. With a bad case of stubbornness, Lolas, for which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed.
We got an achievement, healthy curiosity.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Hey, go back.
no, I'm opening it.
Too late! No! I wanted to memorize the number. It might have been relevant. Okay, 372857. Okay, Chad, don't let me forget. 372857. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Oh, Lord. This is not even a joke. I already forgot the number.
It doesn't matter.
And there's an entry for the day the professor was killed.
We can always look back at it if we need it.
378527. Nope. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia.
Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out?
It would seem so. Just before the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they use laughing gas? That's the most common modern practice in the West for pain relief.
Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia, though it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain.
Oh my god. And there's a cautionary note for the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed.
Really?
Sounds like information worth bearing in mind.
Okay. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes.
So, I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you?
Definitely.
So when did the procedure... I guess it's probably not super relevant.
When did the procedure happen? They said it was noon to 1.
Fair enough. It's not this one. It has nothing to do with eating.
Oops. Is it this?
Did nothing to do with eating. No. There. Well, check the next one first. Yeah, go back. It's that one. Present the medical records.
Yes.
Present the medical records! Well, I think,
What are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer?
I wish I could. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused.
Ryonosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it.
Dragon, you forget sometimes this is said in the past. Thanks, Kazuma.
Thanks. I could see quite clearly that cross-examination you just carry out. When you raise your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it is you wanted to say. Don't fret like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking.
Alright, and thanks for the advice. Kurakuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim.
Oh, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy?
Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness testimony, something clearly doesn't add up.
Such a soft boy. Dear me.
Dear me. Have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur?
Man, you can clearly hear your voice slowly raise in pitch during that clearing. Voice clearing. Sorry, what?
You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateur's drivel.
But...
Let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant.
Good, but that's,
Stop slap. Remember, Ryonosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point.
Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witnesses' testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil.
This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. It automatically interrupted him.
Yeah, I figured.
Do you really believe that?
What? That petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant?
Perhaps because Hada Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic.
A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me?
Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted.
What's this now?
And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, Cadet? If he had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off.
What? No, that can't.
Kurikuta-san,
What, boy? What?
as you
Dragon,
just
you're right.
heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all.
No.
Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case,
That was a bit more forceful.
because the victim, as we now know, is gaining confidence, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Ah!
Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at the photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about, or can't you follow the logic?
I don't think it's about taste, Dragon. It's about, like, you can't chew.
How dare you?
Actually, it's not even that, I think. It's stuff getting over, like, the... I don't
Getting
know.
on the wound and getting infected.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant's case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke?
Yes, most definitely.
Well,
So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who in fact was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Kazuma?
oh, all right. To answer this question, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. I was trying to read what Dragon said.
Oh.
This one having anesthetic put on me, it was awful.
Though also, anesthetics have come a long way since, like, late 1800s.
Yeah, anesthetics back then are essentially like completely just too much now. It's cocaine. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of.
Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been...
Takazuchi Ouchie.
That's not an option.
Ah, dang.
Plus, you might get penalized here now.
And as a yet unknown third party. But it was a woman.
Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
There was, because I saw her.
When the incident occurred, we know that the victim could have been eating anything. Yet we have decisive evidence. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, We will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a failed retrial relentlessly.
Kazuma.
Are you insane? You would take on the government.
Don't worry, Counsel. I have no issue with you.
What do you mean?
I have issues with them. Those two witnesses in the stand. What?
What are you talking about?
We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied about giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury.
Perjury?
And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Oh, dang. Complicit in murder? No. Dang, Cosmo.
Hold it. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I'm just following orders.
That's right. As the man says. You just say you never saw the gentlewoman, and that's what they are told us. Oh.
What?
I done goofed.
What did you just say, Kurikuta-san?
Oh, don't worry about it. No.
You were just following orders.
No, hold on, lad. Say you never saw the gentlewoman.
Grr.
When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas?
What?
Objection!
What is the meaning of all of this? These witnesses give false statements? Is this true, you pair?
Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order. Counsel, explain what's going on here.
It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth.
Absolutely not! The prosecution knows nothing of this.
I doubt that.
Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut?
Well, oh, baby.
It's classified.
Baby. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you?
You wouldn't. This can't be happening.
Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by somebody with considerable influence. However, I don't believe that Ouchie had any idea about it.
What are you saying?
I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there's only a handful of possibilities.
It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose.
Oh no. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can find who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit.
So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut.
Of course, we'll need evidence before we can make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here.
But how? How can we possibly...
Remember how we made progress before?
Before?
We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result.
Yes, that's right.
Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose.
I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe.
Please, wait! Your Excellency! I have no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing.
And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency, I have no time to think. Just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... Oh boy. Up.
Oh boy.
Can't look at evidence.
It's not him. It's not Cosmo.
Okay.
So, keep going. Medical school professor? Maybe. He swears he didn't do it. He's dead. I mean, process of elimination, it would have to be him, because the other two are the other people. So it can't be besides the two people and this same person. So
So, who?
I'm gonna lock in Satoru Hosonaga.
Yes.
He doesn't look 29.
Kotoba? Such shady. Surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. I want to, will it let us look at any? It does. We can look at his business card. It
Yeah.
wouldn't let us look before.
Oh. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division. I thought he was a waiter.